Sure, not the only pet lover here, and we all know anything with teeth can bite. I mean, shoot, we have teeth, and if that was our only defense, we would bite too. I've been raising pit bulls since about the age of 17. Friendly is an understatement when it comes to this breed. They're big lap dogs, basically. My two pit bulls are my big babies. Rescued a Nug. He's about 9 months old. People were going to shoot him because he wasn't aggressive enough. I guess they were training him to be that way. My friend got a hold of him for me and calls me up. He's like, you need a dog. And I was like, oh, I do. So I went over, went and visited, and fell in love with Nanook. I've had him ever since. He's about 4 years old now. In the past year, Nanook's become a father, and I now have his son, Toe Mater, Mater for short. He's about 7 months old now, very rambunctious little guy. He's a sweetheart. Um, he's mischievous. He gets into things, but he's a baby, so what can you do? I know plenty of people who are fighting just to keep their pit bulls. The laws that legislation that's passed, the BSL laws, they can just come into your home and take your dog just because you own a pit bull breed. And the sad part is they're loving dogs unless trained to be otherwise. So the BSL laws, the legislation that passed, in some states and cities and some countries, they're just totally banned. It's illegal to train, harbor, just to have the pit bull, period. And if you are one of the lucky ones that get to keep your pit bull because they were grandfathered in, well, you have to pay an extensive amount of money for insurance liability. You have to keep the dog muzzled or in a cage or kennel. They're not allowed to just be a dog, basically. The other band that they have is there's type 1 and type 2. Type 2 is pretty much the same. It just costs a lot more to keep that dog in that area, and it's just detrimental to the pit bull breed. That this legislation is changed because it doesn't work anyway. It's not really working because of the fact that the laws aren't enforced. It falls upon the like animal control and things like that. And the shelters, they end up with this overabundance of pit bulls, and then they end up having to put them all down, put them to sleep. And even though they're not aggressive, they end up having to euthanize them. The BSL laws they're trying to say basically that they're trying to keep aggressive dogs out of the public. Well, the stats on biting for pit bulls is not even that high because they get mistaken identity all the time. Any bully owner will let you know. There's been a case of an Akita that has bitten, but they were reported as a pit bull. Akitas look nothing like a pit bull. These laws are not going to work, just like the leash laws. Okay, they're not enforced. You know what I mean? So it just becomes to where certain things are enforced. Like if your dog ends up loose, they'll take your dog and then they'll euthanize it. The thing I'm trying to get across is get educated. Take the dog, get it trained. Get it. It's called the CGC. It's the canine from the Canine Club, I believe. But you can get your dogs trained and everything, and they'll be certified. Also, the pit bulls make awesome therapy dogs. They make really, really good companions. They're very, very loyal, very gentle. They're just sweethearts. Just do your education. You know what I mean? Just look through your laws in each city, state that you live in. Write your legislation. Let them know, you know what I mean, that this is not going to help because the problem isn't the breed. It's the people behind the breed. The person that owns the dog, who's training the dog, who has the dog, making it aggressive towards humans, because their natural, normal demeanor is not aggressive towards humans. So for a pit bull to turn on a human is because of abuse. They got abused, they were neglected, they were beaten, they were starved to death, things like that. If they're just, and even then, pit bulls are so docile that they're not even mean even after they've been through all that. They're still sweethearts. Not every single pit bull bites. I'm not saying dogs don't bite. I'm not saying pit bulls don't bite. Anything with teeth can bite. It's just on how you train that animal. It's crazy. You can own a tiger in Florida, but you can't own a pit bull. I don't understand the philosophy behind that. I don't know. We got to do something, and we got to do something now because it's detrimental to this breed. They're trying to basically extinct them. Pit bulls are not going to be no longer around. And they're like and civil wars and world wars from prior 1800s, pit bulls, bully breeds, stood on the front line with our men fighting. They were there with them. It's been America's dog for many years. And now it's just detrimental that we help this breed, we fight for this breed. If you were not a pit bull owner, if you've never owned a pit bull, you just don't understand the loyalty and love that comes from them.